Yo, what is going on, guys? Manny here, and welcome to my FUT Champions custom tactics. Yes, this is going to be a video showing you basically how I use the 3-4-1-2 to help me get top 100. Now, I'm not saying this formation is the sole reason for me getting top 100. Yes, I have a very good team to go along with it, but it's how that team works for you, because I've played with such teams in formations like the 4-2-3-1 and I can't even get a streak of 3 wins. 4-2-2-2 and I'll be losing games. So I've found a formation that currently is working for me on Ultimate Team, and that's playing 3 at the back, which is something that I was very, very scared to do. However, that's only really if you're just thinking about it in a base way. So you're thinking, oh, I've got one less defender, so I'm going to be exposed. No, that's not exactly how it works, but I'll explain that in a second. Firstly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go step by step through the team that I used and what I think of the players in their positions. And if you don't have coins or the ability to get the players that I have right now, similar players that could potentially work in those positions for you. So yeah, let's start off with Alisson. Alisson is the goalkeeper that I just decided to use on this game because I packed him. He was high rated, and I didn't want to just go and be trying out goalkeeper after goalkeeper. So I thought, I packed him, let me keep him, let's see what he's about. So he played, at the time, I think almost 90 games for me. Obviously, this is a concept card because since then I've sold him, and the reason I sold him is because he can be very, very good. However, he can also be very, very bad. He parries a lot of shots, more than most goalkeepers that I've used. So I've used ter Stegen now, I've used Van der Sar, and I've used Areola as well. But Alisson parries a lot of shots, and for some reason, I think when things go at him, he just falls down. Obviously, that happens with a lot of goalkeepers in this game, but I felt like his handling wasn't the greatest, and it was costing me at times. And sometimes people shoot straight at him, he just falls down. So Alisson is hit and miss. He can also be very good, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes where he makes crazy saves, but at the same time, I didn't really trust him fully enough to keep him in the team. But you could get any goalkeeper that suits you. If you find one on this game, try and stick with them, because if you keep chopping and changing, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. Then I'm going to go to Joe Gomez, right? Joe Gomez, we slapped him on there with a backbone, and that does improve his interceptions and his physical stats, also his passing a little bit. But with a backbone on Joe Gomez, it really, really worked. I felt like I was playing with the guy who's on the other side, Desai, and at times I think Joe Gomez was actually my best defender in the weekend league, and he doesn't cost a lot. He doesn't cost a lot. I packed mine, but I think he goes for like 2K literally. So if you are looking for a defender that is capable or competent playing in a 3 at the back formation, Joe Gomez can do either side. He's strong enough, he's fast enough, and he can deal with very high-rated players. I'm talking very good players. So Joe Gomez surprised me, and I would also say, I would go as far as saying he was one of my favourite players of the weekend to use out of this whole team. So that's saying something. Then obviously we have the 90-rated Van Dijk. If you're playing this formation and you can't afford a Van Dijk, I would highly recommend that you get someone who can be the core. In this formation, you need the core. So you need probably your strongest, most stiffest defender to be the central player. You don't want them out wide, really. And that's what I found to work. So I put Van Dijk central. That's what I went with. Obviously, Van Dijk is overpowered on this game. You guys know that. The blocks, trying to get past him is a mission. So that was the core of my defense. And just like I said, if you're playing in this formation, you need to have that. Be that if that's a Longley or an Umtiti or a Koulibaly, you need to have your strongest centre-back in the core of the team. So that's what I did. Then we move over to Desai. I think it is very important to make sure that all of your defenders are fast if you're playing this formation, because at times your wingers might push too far forward and you might be a little bit exposed. So you need people who can come back and make that recovery. So I went with Desai. Wasn't convinced of him at the start, and I don't know, like, he just grew into it. He got better as champs went on, and he did end up being a very, very good card for me. So I had a shadow on him. It does affect his pace a fair amount, but like I said, please, if you are playing this formation, just make sure your defenders in those positions are fast. Otherwise, the wingers at times can leave you exposed. Going on to the midfield now, right? We're going to start off with the centre midfielders. So I've got Patrick Vieira, 88 Patrick Vieira. Everyone knows a very, very difficult card to get past, a very overpowered card in a sense, and it's very difficult for things to go past him. We know that. Vieira is a tank in midfield. I had an engine on him, and he did a superb job of cutting out the play, muscling off players, and winning the ball back. So, Vieira, the thing is with him, there are many players that you can get that resemble that in terms of just cutting out the play and just being that rock in midfield. So I would say if you can't afford a Vieira, then maybe go for a Musa Sissoko, who seems to be really, really overpowered on this game. Very frustrating to play against. Fabinho, also very good. Maybe not as mobile as Vieira, but Fabinho, also very, very good and annoying to play against. And then if you want to go a little bit more expensive than that, I would say N'Golo Kante to hold it down in the midfield. Because in FIFA, you always need that one midfielder to break up the play, muscle off players, just be an irritant in the midfield. And that's what Vieira was for me. So I would say those three players, if you can't afford Vieira, go for them. Then over to the right now, we have Gini Wijnaldum. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This card, that FUT Champs week was crazy. Honestly, I was so surprised. Obviously, it makes it even better that I'm a Liverpool fan and just the whole right side of the team is just basically Liverpool. But yeah, Wijnaldum, his record for me is pretty good. For a centre mid anyway, he's got 26 goals to this point now, 45 assists, but he's got high work rates. That's one thing that I did say really worked for me because Wijnaldum could get back and defend for me. He could also attack. The only thing that I had an issue with during Champs, like I said in the videos, is that sometimes when he gets into the attacking positions, he doesn't have the correct ability to finish. Because what's his shooting on this card? His shooting is 73. His shooting 73. He's got 70 finishing, 78 shot power. So that is going to be an issue at times, but in terms of getting up and down, doing the job for me, very incredible job. And you'll see the instructions that I have on them. I don't know. I think depending on the work rates, that's how you choose your instructions, if that makes sense. But Wijnaldum did a very good job. And if you're looking for a cheap centre mid to do a job like that, Gini Wijnaldum goes for around 20k. That's not too much, in my opinion. Then we'll go over to the wingers. Since that Champs weekend, I've sold Garrincha. So I'm not going to talk about Garrincha too much because yes, he's a very high rated card, but if you look at his stats, it says he's got 86 shooting. Yes, I was playing him on 7 chem on the wing, but it says he's got 86 shooting, and it didn't feel anything like that. It didn't even feel like it was 75 at times. So that's the reason why I got rid of Garrincha in the end. He's very fast, yes. He's got very high dribbling, yes, that can really help you. And he's also got the 5-star skills, but I feel like in that left mid position, I could have put anyone there. Or, do you know what I mean? I started this formation playing Coman there and it was working for me. But in that left mid position, I think, unless I was actually trying to switch and work the play along the field, I could literally put anyone that isn't Garrincha there. So you could just play that by ear or just play that by trying a few games, trying a few people out. Your left mid can really be anyone. Then we'll go over to the right side, Mohamed Salah. Now, Mohamed Salah, left-footed. Everyone knows he's left-footed. Not got the greatest of weak foots. So very predictable at times. That's why it's good that in this formation he's not a key part of the attacking. However, he can get involved, and I did highlight that in one of the FUT Champs videos, how he made a run from basically right back across right mid and went straight through centre mid as well, and then ended up scoring a goal for me in the box. So I don't know how that happened, but obviously his work rates, that's one thing I would say if you're trying to use this formation, try and copy his work rates. He's got high attacking, he's got medium, but for some reason the way he was playing is like he would be to the right of Joe Gomez. When we're defending, you'd see it almost goes to like a flat 4-back, but that was even using balanced custom tactics, right? Which was pretty weird. But it was working. So Salah could be at right back, then he could be at right mid, then he could be at right forward. Sometimes you might even catch him at right striker. That's how dynamic this formation can be. But of course, ultimately, it comes down to the way you play as well. The reason why I do like this formation is because defensively, it feels solid in terms of when you want to get compact and get together. Midfield, depending on how you play it as well, it just seems a nice shape to change defense into attack and just get the ball moving. So that's why I really like it. But Salah, really good job. Can you get anyone else there? Yes, of course. But I'd like to make sure that if you are getting someone else, they have to be fast. Your wingers must be fast. And they must have a decent amount of physical to get the other wingers that going the other way off the ball. Because there's numerous times where I had him just in the right position to get people off the ball and just the right amount of pace and strength to get rid of people like Neymar and Mbappe at times and just cause all sorts of problems. So, also, just make sure your wingers are fast. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on to your cam. Obviously, I am very privileged to have this 91 Dino as my cam. What a player. Very good. very nimble, obviously high dribbling stats, high balance. If we look at it, his agility with the chem style he's got goes up to +5, so it's 97 agility. That's very, very good. Obviously the balance and reactions, ball control, dribbling. If you are going to play a cam in this position, they have to have a decent amount of pace and a decent amount of dribbling as well. Pace, dribbling, agility. Those are the stats that matter for this position, in my opinion, on this game. Because the thing with Dino, I didn't play him on free roam. I told him initially, just stick to position, see how it goes. So stick to position is what I put on Dino. I'll go into that in a second more. But like I said, agility, very important because you need them to do those twists and turns on the edge of the box, especially when people are playing drop back. It is essential that you are able to twist and turn and maneuver and wait for your strikers to make the right movement to maybe play it into them or maybe even get a shot off if you are fortunate enough. But that is very difficult when everyone's playing like literally with a wall of like 10 players in front of you. But yeah, Dino did a very good job of bridging the ball from midfield to attack. Vieira would just offload it to him, Dino would do his stuff and maybe play it into Mane or Pele. Going on to the strikers, Mane and Pele, what did they actually do for me? Score goals. Score goals. Your strikers must have the ability to score goals. And I'm saying that, obviously that sounds obvious and quite straightforward, but I'm saying that because some strikers just literally, yeah, they'll do little bits here and there, but they can't score goals. And obviously Mane, his record for me, pretty decent for a two-striker formation as well. 150 games played now, 113 goals and 91 assists. High, medium. High, medium. You need to make sure that strikers are staying up front. You don't want a medium striker. You want high, medium, high even wouldn't be the worst because they will sort of drop back at times, but they can also be caught forward. It depends. But yeah, these guys, I wanted them to get in behind, cause problems for my opponents, and make sure that they could beat them with their pace. Sometimes you'll find some stupid defenders like Longley, who's clearly not as fast as Pele or Mane, catching up to these guys, which was irritating. But in terms of how I played with these strikers, I'd work it from the midfield. Sometimes I'd go on the counter-attack and just literally pop 1-2s between both of them. So 1-2s, play it in behind to your fast striker, and you can be straight in behind. But we're going to go into the custom tactics in a second. We're going to go into the custom tactics, and I'll explain more about how I was using the strikers. But yeah, 1-2s, in behind, with their pace, you need to have fast strikers. You must do, because especially at times with this formation, you're just going to be on the counter-attack. Right, so as I said, since then, my team has changed. I'm just going to show you my custom tactics. That's why I've put Perisic there. But yeah, we've got Van der Sar in goal right now. But let's look at these custom tactics. Right, so for my custom tactics, I stayed with balanced just because I think everything else is a bit too much. Pressure on heavy touch draws your players out of position. I don't really want that in this formation. I've already got 3 at the back, and I'm not too sure what my wingers will do at each moment. So pressure on heavy touch, I didn't want that because there's many heavy touches in this game anyway, so they'll be pressing all the time, running out of stamina. Press after possession loss, I didn't want that either because, like I said again, I don't want people drawing themselves out of position. And constant pressure, no one wants that. I don't want that, especially not with this formation. Look how many players get drawn across. So drop back, that's a no-go because I don't play that. It's not my style of play. I like to attack. So we had to go with balanced, and we kept the width at 5, sorry. And I think that worked for us still because my wingers were within reach. My centre mid stayed in the positions that I need them to stay in, and it just stayed sort of balanced. With the depth, we didn't drop back too deep. We dropped back to 3 because I think that's enough to make it difficult for my opponent, and also enough that I can still attack somewhat or get on counter-attacks or push the team up as and when I needed to. So I kept it on 3, and I think that's more than enough. Moving over to the offensive side, and yeah, we stayed on balanced again. We stayed on balanced again because long ball, no, we're not going to be playing that realistically. Chip through balls on this game, they take a long time for people to control them, so it's not always an ideal way of playing, so long ball was no-go. Fast build-up could work with this. It could work with this, but like even with the defensive styles, it could draw your players out of position quite a bit. So I didn't play possession, didn't keep that, stayed on balanced, and I think it worked. What we did, though, is we kept it very wide. So we went with, I think that's 7 on the width. We went with that, and that allowed Garrincha at the time to stay wide. He would come up almost from left wing back, come up from left wing back, and if I'm attacking on the right, he'll be ready to make that run in behind. What was then to happen was it was down to me if I could work it out to him quickly enough without my opponent clocking onto it, and I could get him in behind and maybe set someone up or something. But But yeah, the width worked for me as well. Players in the box, we kept that on 6. Yes, you do need enough players in the box. At times, I think I could even have taken that up. I could have taken that up and put more players in the box, really. Because at times I felt like I didn't have too many options. Maybe it was just Mane and Pele. Sometimes even just Mane. But I don't know why that was. I don't know why that was at all. But at the end of the day, still was able to get 29 with this. Corners and free kicks, kept them on 3. Didn't really need to change too much with that. I'm guessing as well you guys will be pleased to know that I didn't change the formation in game at all. I didn't touch anything in game. So we'll go over to the instructions and I'll show you what I did. So obviously Van der Sar stays normal. Nothing changes with Van der Sar. The defense also, you'll be surprised to know that I didn't change anything. Kept it on default. I think that works best. They did stay in their position and I didn't want to draw them out too much. In the midfield, I kept Vieira, and I know this might come as a surprise to many. I kept Vieira on conservative interception, so he stood off a little bit and he doesn't have to just rush in, because if he rushes in, that takes stamina, and if he misses the ball, we're out of position yet again. So I think in this formation, where you are already leaving yourself to be exposed at the risk of being good attacking wise or moving the ball across and having the options on the wing, you have to make sure that your players are not drawn out of position. So Vieira, I kept him on conservative. Wijnaldum, I left him on normal. Obviously, both of the centre midfielders, I put them on cover centre. I took it off cover wing because I think that draws them out. And yet again, you don't need that. Yeah. But Wijnaldum was on stay on the edge of the box for crossing. Stay back while attacking. Balanced attack was for Vieira as well. And, oh, no. I think that was actually the other way around. I think Wijnaldum was on balanced attack and Vieira was on stay back while attacking. Although sometimes he did still join the attack. Ronaldinho, initially, at the time, he was not on free roam. So I had him on stick to position because I feel like he needs to hold that and he needs to be there to be able to bridge the ball from midfield to attack. So I kept him on stick to position. I didn't put him on free roam. So I think, again, that just, you don't really know what you're going to get or where your player is going to be at what time. So I wanted to keep that constant. So I left him on stick to position. With Salah, I left everything the same. Didn't touch anything. Salah did the job in terms of going forward and coming back, so I didn't change anything. I left it at that. On the left side now, and yet again, we kept everything the same. Obviously, at that point, that was Garrincha. He wasn't getting back as much as Salah, though. He was not getting back as much as Salah. And I had no problem with that because I still felt like with Desai, I still had enough power, enough pace, enough strength to do what I needed to do. But sometimes Garrincha will come back, but again, he's not the strongest. So that wasn't benefiting me in any way. Over to the strikers, and this is where it is a bit interesting. So I think initially, the way I was playing it was Pele as a false 9. I was playing Pele as a false 9, but I decided, you know what, let me change that. I played Mane on getting behind, left Pele all the same default, and it was working for me because I feel like you need one of your strikers to hover and just be able to pick up the ball, and the other one's ready to go. So for those 1-2s, for the little through ball in behind, I needed Mane to be on getting behind. Everything else was on default, but like I said, the way it was working, just the way I had these tactics, this is no guarantee they'll work for you. This is no guarantee they're the best tactics or anything, but this is just what I used at the time when I was playing my best FIFA, and I managed to get 29 and 1. So yeah. These are all my custom tactics. This is how I'm using it. Obviously, I know not everyone will be able to have these players or be able to get the best players. So if you are thinking of playing this formation, you have to play it in a way that's going to suit yourself. You have to play it with players that are going to suit you. And if you can, try and emulate the players that I have in these positions. Try and get fast players in your striking positions. Try and get someone creative and agile in your cam position. The wingers don't really matter too much in my opinion. Just make sure that they're fast. Obviously, you need the destroyer in midfield and you need the one that can just go box to box, box to box. So in that case for me, that was Gini Wijnaldum. With the defense, like I said, the two centre-backs on the side, they need to be fast and you need to have your stopper in the middle, which for me was Van Dijk. Goalkeepers, you're going to concede anyway, so good luck with that. But those are my custom tactics, guys. I'm going to show you some of my best goals from the weekend as well. And if you have enjoyed this video, and if you do find it helpful, let me know. Leave a like on this video and drop a comment down below. But yeah, guys, that's it from me. Look forward to more Ultimate Team videos coming soon, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Peace.